Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of a coin that carries not only historical significance but also a hefty price tag. We're talking about the United States quarter dollar, minted in 1776 to 1976, a coin that's become a true treasure for collectors worldwide. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a newcomer to the hobby, you're going to want to hear about this amazing piece of history. Now, you may be thinking, what's so special about a coin that's over 40 years old? But trust me, this coin has a story to tell, and it might just be worth a lot more than you think. So, let's break it down and discover why this coin could be hiding in your collection, waiting to make you a fortune. Let's start with the backstory. The 1776 to 1976 United States quarter dollar was issued to celebrate America's bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This special coin was minted in both regular and proof versions, with a unique design to commemorate the milestone. The reverse side of the coin features a bold depiction of the American bald eagle, while the obverse displays the traditional profile of George Washington. The coin was produced in large quantities, but over time, a few interesting and rare variations have surfaced that make it much more valuable than your average quarter. What makes these quarters stand out is not just their historical significance but the rare and sometimes error-filled characteristics that make them so desirable to collectors. Some of these coins were struck with interesting imperfections, and as you know, in the world of numismatics, errors can significantly increase the value of a coin. Let's talk about those errors. One of the most sought-after varieties is the Bicentennial double die error coin. This error occurs when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the design on the reverse. If you find a quarter with this error, you're holding a rare piece of history that collectors absolutely love. Not only is the design error unique, but it also makes the coin much more valuable, because these error coins were produced in limited numbers, but there's more to it. Another key factor that adds to the value of this coin is its condition. Most of the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarters were spent in circulation, meaning they show signs of wear and tear. But if you happen to find one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a coin that's worth far more than just its face value. Coins in excellent condition are rare, and the value can skyrocket based on how well the coin has been preserved, and it's not just about errors or condition. There are also some special editions of this coin that were released in limited runs, such as the 40% silver-proof version. These are especially desirable for collectors who want something a little more exclusive, as the silver content makes these coins more precious and valuable compared to the copper-nickel-clad ones. Now, here's where it gets even more exciting. While the average 1776 to 1976 quarter dollar might only be worth a few dollars, certain rare versions, especially those with significant errors, can fetch astronomical amounts at auction. And if you happen to have one of these rare coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, what's the actual value of a 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter? Well, depending on the rarity, condition, and any unique errors or minting variations, these coins can be worth a surprising amount. Some can go for thousands of dollars, and for the rarest of the rare, the price can shoot up dramatically. One of these rare coins could be worth as much as $89,000. Yes, you heard that right, $89,000. That's right, folks, a single 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter, in mint condition and with a rare error, can be worth an astonishing $89,000. Imagine having one of these coins tucked away in your collection or finding one in your spare change. So, the next time you're sorting through your old coins or browsing through flea markets, keep your eyes peeled for the 1776 to 1976 bicentennial quarter. You just might find a piece of history that could make you a lot richer than you ever imagined. Top 2, we're diving into a coin that might be sitting right in your collection or hiding in your change jar, waiting for you to discover its hidden value. We're talking about the 1997 United States quarter dollar, a seemingly ordinary coin that has turned into a real treasure for collectors. Now, you might be asking, what's so special about a 1997 quarter? Well, let me tell you, this little coin has a lot more to offer than meets the eye. First, let's set the stage. The 1997 quarter is part of the regular series of quarters that was minted by the United States Mint, but there are some rare and valuable factors that make this coin stand out among the millions produced. While many 1997 quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents, some rare varieties are worth far, far more. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who's casually interested in numismatics, you're going to want to stick around and hear what makes this coin so exciting. One of the main reasons the 1997 quarter has caught the attention of collectors is due to its rarity and the condition of the coins. Like most coins in circulation, the majority of these quarters were used, spent, and worn down by everyday transactions. However, there are some hidden gems that have survived the years in pristine condition, and those are the ones collectors are eager to get their hands on. The demand for uncirculated coins, especially ones that are in near-perfect or perfect condition, is incredibly high, and these coins can fetch impressive prices on the market. But here's the kicker, it's not just about the coin being in excellent condition. Some of these 1997 quarters have unique characteristics or minting errors that make them even more valuable. That's right, error coins are some of the most sought-after items for collectors, and if you happen to find one of these with a minting mistake, you could be looking at a fortune. For example, one of the most notable errors found on certain 1997 quarters is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process. The result? A coin that's missing part of its design or has the design shifted to one side. This kind of error is rare and makes the coin incredibly valuable to collectors who are constantly on the lookout for these types of irregularities. In addition to the off-center strike, there are also other types of errors that can be found on some 1997 quarters, like double dies, where the design appears to be doubled due to the die being misaligned during the stamping process. Coins with these errors are not only unique but also have a level of rarity that increases their market value significantly. Collectors love finding these kinds of mistakes because they are one of a kind and stand out in any collection. Another factor that can add value to the 1997 quarter is its scarcity in certain mints. While quarters from the 1997 series were minted in large numbers, certain varieties or specific minting locations can make a particular coin more desirable. For instance, quarters produced at specific U.S. mint facilities or those with certain mint marks can have a greater value if they are harder to find. And let's not forget that the State Quarters program, which was launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999, brought a lot of attention to American quarters in general. However, collectors who pay attention to the history of coins know that sometimes older quarters, like the 1997 model, are also valuable, especially when rare variations are found. The excitement surrounding the State Quarters program has led to a surge in interest for earlier coins like the 1997 quarters, making them even more desirable. Now, you're probably wondering, how much can a 1997 quarter really be worth? While most of these coins are still worth their face value, the rare, error-filled, or uncirculated 1997 quarters can fetch impressive sums. Some of the more well-preserved specimens or those with minting errors can be sold for thousands of dollars at auctions or through private collectors. But wait, there's more. If you're lucky enough to have one of these special 1997 quarters in your possession, it could be worth as much as $63,000. Yes, you heard that right, $63,000 for a single 1997 quarter. It's amazing to think that a coin, which is often overlooked and tossed around in change, could have such a high value, but that's the beauty of collecting rare coins. With the right condition, minting error, or unique characteristic, a simple quarter can turn into a true treasure. So, what should you do next? If you've got any 1997 quarters lying around, take a closer look at them. Check for minting errors, examine their condition, and make sure you're not overlooking something valuable. Even if you don't have a rare 1997 quarter, now you know how much potential some of these coins have. Keep an eye on your change, and who knows? You might just stumble upon a hidden gem that could make you a fortune. Top 3, we're diving deep into a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, waiting to make you a fortune. We're talking about the 1979 United States quarter dollar. It may seem like just another old coin, but believe me, there's much more to this piece of currency than meets the eye. The 1979 quarter has been a favorite of collectors for years, and for good reason. If you love coins, history, and treasure hunting, you're in for a real treat today. The 1979 quarter was part of the regular circulation coins produced by the U.S. Mint, yet some of these quarters have become incredibly valuable due to their rarity, condition, and certain unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. While many of us might think of a quarter as a simple, everyday coin, the 1979 quarter holds hidden secrets that have collectors eagerly searching for it. If you're lucky enough to find one of these rare pieces, you could be holding onto something worth a lot more than just 25 cents. So what makes the 1979 quarter so special? Let's break it down. First, the general design of the 1979 quarter is quite familiar. The obverse features the classic portrait of George Washington, created by John Flanagan, and it's been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. The reverse shows the eagle, an iconic symbol of strength and freedom, representing the United States. At first glance, this quarter seems like just another piece of everyday currency, but as we all know, the real treasures are often the ones you least expect. Now, let's get into the real reason why the 1979 quarter is so highly sought after. The key to its value lies in a combination of its rarity and the errors that make some of these coins truly exceptional. Some 1979 quarters were struck with minting mistakes that have turned them into highly valuable collectibles. And when we talk about minting errors, we're talking about some serious gems that could fetch you thousands of dollars at auction point. One of the most exciting errors that has been discovered on 1979 quarters is the double die error. This happens when the coin dies are misaligned, causing the image to be struck twice, which results in a visible doubling of the design. Double die errors are highly prized among collectors, and they make these coins stand out from the typical, well-struck versions of the quarter. If you have a 1979 quarter with this type of error, you're holding onto a very valuable piece of history, but that's not all. Another factor that adds to the value of the 1979 quarter is its condition. Just like with any collectible, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. The 1979 quarter, like many other coins of its era, was circulated widely, meaning most of them have been worn down over time. However, if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're in luck. Coins that have survived without being damaged or heavily worn are much rarer than you might think, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. Even slight imperfections, such as toning or discoloration, can make a coin stand out and increase its value. But it's the uncirculated specimens that truly draw the attention of serious collectors. The better the condition of the 1979 quarter, the higher the price it can command on the market. If you happen to have one in perfect condition, you could be holding a goldmine in your hands, and let's not forget that there are different varieties of the 1979 quarter depending on where it was minted. The U.S. Mint operates several facilities, and some collectors place a premium on coins minted in certain locations. If you find a 1979 quarter from a less common mint or with a particular mint mark, it could make your coin even more valuable to the right collector. Now, here's where things get really exciting. While the typical 1979 quarter might only be worth a few dollars, the rare, error-filled, or uncirculated versions of this coin can skyrocket in value. Some of these quarters have been sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. But wait, it gets even better. If you happen to have one of the extremely rare, pristine, error-filled 1979 quarters, you could be looking at a price tag that will blow your mind. A single 1979 quarter could be worth as much as $69,000, yes, you heard me correctly, $69,000 for a single quarter. It's hard to believe that something as simple as a 25-cent coin could hold such a massive value, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about the face value, it's about the rarity, condition, and unique features that make a coin truly special. And if you're lucky enough to find a 1979 quarter with an error or in perfect condition, you could be sitting on a treasure worth a small fortune. So, what should you do next? If you've got a collection of quarters or happen to have some 1979 quarters lying around, take a closer look at them. Examine their condition, check for any minting errors, and see if you've got one of these rare finds on your hands. Even if you don't have a rare 1979 quarter right now, it's always worth paying attention to the coins in your pocket change. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem. Top 4. We're about to explore a fascinating coin that might be sitting in your collection or even tucked away in your spare change, waiting to make you a small fortune. We're talking about the 1971 United States quarter dollar, a coin that's been flying under the radar for many collectors, but one that has gained significant attention for its rarity and potential value. So, whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, get ready for an exciting dive into the world of the 1971 quarter. At first glance, the 1971 quarter may seem like any other coin from the era. After all, it features the iconic George Washington on the obverse and the traditional eagle on the reverse, symbols that have been part of U.S. quarters for decades. But what makes this coin so special? What gives it such value? Well, there's much more to the 1971 quarter than meets the eye. It's not just about its historical significance or its design. What truly makes it stand out are the factors of rarity, condition, and some unique minting errors that make it a collector's dream. Let's first talk about the rarity. When it comes to coins, rarity is one of the key factors that can drive a coin's value up, and the 1971 quarter is no exception. While these coins were minted in large quantities, most of them have been in circulation for years, causing them to wear down and lose their appeal. That's where things get interesting. If you happen to have a 1971 quarter that's been kept in excellent condition, you're sitting on something very rare. Uncirculated coins are always in demand, especially when they've been carefully stored and preserved over the years, but it's not just about condition, it's about the rare errors that have made certain 1971 quarters so incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after errors on these quarters is the double die variety. If you've ever heard of the term double die, you know that it refers to an error that happens during the minting process, when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once. This results in a doubling effect on the design, creating a noticeable, and often dramatic, shift in the details on the coin. If you happen to find a 1971 quarter with this type of error, you could have a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is misaligned during the striking process, causing the design to shift. If you happen to find a 1971 quarter with an off-center strike, you're holding onto a coin that's not only unique but also highly sought after by collectors. These types of mistakes are rare and can significantly increase the value of the coin. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. The better the condition of a coin, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that have been well preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, or other signs of heavy wear, are far more valuable than those that have been circulated extensively. A 1971 quarter that has survived the years in pristine condition, perhaps even in uncirculated state, can easily command a higher price in the market. It's a treasure for collectors who are looking to add a well-preserved example to their collection. What makes the 1971 quarter even more interesting is that it falls into a period of transition in U.S. coinage. This was around the time when the U.S. was facing changes in its currency design, and the 1971 quarter represents the tail end of that classic quarter design that collectors hold dear. So, not only does this coin hold value for its rarity and condition, but it also carries a sense of history. Coins like the 1971 quarter, which represent a specific time in American history, are especially attractive to numismatists. Now, let's talk about the value. While the average 1971 quarter might not be worth much more than its face value, the rare, error-filled, or well-preserved examples can sell for much higher amounts. Some of these rare finds have gone for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. But the most incredible part? A highly sought-after, uncirculated 1971 quarter with a significant minting error or unique characteristics could be worth as much as $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, $76,000 for a single 1971 quarter. It's hard to believe, but that's the value of these rare, exceptional coins. If you've got one of these gems in your collection, or if you happen to find one during your coin hunting, you could be looking at a windfall that most people would never expect from a quarter. So, what should you do now? If you've got any 1971 quarters lying around, take a good look at them. Examine their condition carefully and see if there are any errors or unusual features that could make them more valuable. Look for that double die or off-center strike, and check for any other unique features that might set your coin apart. Even if you don't find a rare one, knowing what to look for can turn you into a savvy collector. If you're just getting started with coin collecting or have been at it for years, remember that coins like the 1971 quarter remind us that there's always something more to discover in the world of numismatics. Whether you're collecting for fun or hunting for rare finds to increase the value of your collection, this 1971 quarter proves that there's always the potential for a hidden treasure. Top 5. We've got an incredible story to share about a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or your pocket change. We're talking about the 1973 United States quarter dollar, a seemingly ordinary coin that has earned a reputation in the world of numismatics for its hidden value. If you've ever wondered how a simple quarter could be worth thousands of dollars, then you're in for a treat today. Let's dive into what makes the 1973 quarter so special, and how you might be holding on to a valuable treasure without even knowing it. At first glance, the 1973 quarter may appear to be like any other quarter from the era, with the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse and the iconic eagle on the reverse. It's the same design that has been a hallmark of U.S. quarters for decades. But here's the twist: while most of these coins are worth just their face value of 25 cents, a select few 1973 quarters have become highly coveted collectibles. What makes these coins so valuable? Well, the key lies in their rarity, condition, and the potential for minting errors that could dramatically increase their worth. Let's talk about rarity first. The 1973 quarter was minted in large quantities, so at first, you might think it's just another run-of-the-mill coin. However, the true value of this coin doesn't lie in its overall mintage, it lies in the small percentage of these quarters that have survived in pristine condition. The vast majority of these coins were circulated in everyday transactions, meaning most have been worn down by the test of time. But every now and then, one of these quarters will be found in near-perfect or even uncirculated condition. When you find one of these coins, you've found something truly special. The value of a coin is largely determined by its condition, and uncirculated examples of the 1973 quarter are in high demand among collectors. A coin in mint condition, free of scratches, discoloration, or wear, can fetch a premium price, sometimes much higher than what you'd expect. Coins that have been carefully stored and preserved for decades are incredibly rare, and collectors are always on the lookout for these well-kept specimens. So, if you come across a 1973 quarter that looks brand new, you could be holding on to a valuable piece of U.S. history, but it's not just about pristine condition. What truly makes some 1973 quarters so desirable are the minting errors that make them stand out. Coins with errors are some of the most sought-after items in the numismatic world. These mistakes are often what turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. The 1973 quarter has a few notable error types that collectors are especially eager to find. One of the most intriguing errors found on 1973 quarters is the double die error. Double dies occur when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on the design. The doubling can be seen on elements like the lettering, date, and even on parts of the portrait of George Washington. If you have a 1973 quarter with a double die error, you've stumbled upon a rare find that could be worth a small fortune. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. These coins are instantly recognizable, and collectors find them highly desirable due to their unique appearance. An off-center 1973 quarter is not something you come across every day, which makes it all the more exciting to find. If you happen to have one of these, your coin is much more valuable than a standard quarter. Beyond the minting errors, another factor that adds to the value of a 1973 quarter is its place in history. The 1970s was a decade of change for the United States, with the country experiencing major shifts in politics, culture, and the economy. Coins from this period can evoke a sense of nostalgia and historical significance, which adds another layer of appeal for collectors who enjoy owning pieces of history. The 1973 quarter, being part of this pivotal time, holds an inherent charm that adds to its desirability among collectors. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of these rare 1973 quarters. While most 1973 quarters are still only worth their face value, the rare, uncirculated, or error-filled coins can be worth significantly more. Some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions, depending on their condition and rarity. But here's the kicker: if you happen to have a 1973 quarter with an error or in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $72,000, yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single 1973 quarter. It's mind-blowing to think that something as simple as a quarter could be worth that much, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. A small mistake during the minting process, or the preservation of a coin in excellent condition, can make a huge difference in its value. For those who are diligent and careful in their coin hunting, the rewards can be truly extraordinary. So, what should you do now? If you've got any 1973 quarters lying around, take a close look at them. Check their condition carefully and keep an eye out for any minting errors. A 1973 quarter with a double die or off-center strike could be a rare gem that you didn't even know you were holding. Even if you don't have a rare error, remember that well-preserved coins from this era are always in demand, and they might just fetch more than you'd expect. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a beginner, this is a reminder of just how fascinating the world of numismatics can be. You never know when you might find a coin that's worth much more than its face value. So, keep hunting, keep collecting, and most importantly, enjoy the process of discovering rare and valuable treasures. Top 6. We're going to take a close look at a coin that might be sitting in your collection or even hidden away in your spare change, waiting to turn into a small fortune. We're talking about the 1982 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another piece of pocket change, but the truth is, there's a lot more to this 1982 quarter than meets the eye. If you're a serious coin collector, or just curious about the incredible world of numismatics, stick around, because we're about to dive into the rarity, value, and minting errors that can make this coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. The 1982 quarter, like most U.S. quarters, features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, and an eagle on the reverse. These design elements have been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades, symbolizing strength, freedom, and the foundation of the nation. But what sets the 1982 quarter apart from other quarters is the potential hidden inside this relatively modern coin. You might be thinking, why would a coin from 1982 be worth anything more than face value? Well, the truth is, there are a few factors that make the 1982 quarter truly special. For one, it's a coin from the early 1980s, a time when the U.S. was dealing with inflation, economic shifts, and changes in its currency. As time moves on, these coins start to carry not only monetary value but historical significance as well, but the real allure of the 1982 quarter lies in its rarity and the possibility of minting errors. While millions of these coins were struck in 1982, the vast majority are just like any other circulating quarter. They've been used in transactions, exchanged between hands, and worn down over time. But the key to a coin's real value lies in how well it's been preserved, and whether it possesses any rare characteristics or errors that make it stand out from the rest. Let's talk about condition first. A coin's condition can drastically affect its value. Most of the 1982 quarters in circulation have been through decades of use, which means they've been scratched, scuffed, or otherwise worn. But if you're fortunate enough to come across a 1982 quarter in near-perfect condition, you're holding onto something special. Coins that have been carefully preserved, kept in pristine or uncirculated condition, can fetch significantly higher prices from collectors who are seeking high-quality examples for their collections. These well-preserved coins are rare, and demand is high, but condition alone isn't what makes the 1982 quarter so intriguing. There are certain minting errors that occur during the production process that can make an otherwise ordinary coin worth far more than its face value. Minting errors are a major draw for coin collectors because they are unique, one-of-a-kind mistakes that make a coin stand out from the rest. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1982 quarter is the double die variety. This error happens when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once, causing a doubling of the design. The doubling effect can be seen on the date, letters, and even parts of George Washington's portrait. If you're lucky enough to find a 1982 quarter with a double die, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than a standard issue. These types of errors are extremely rare, and collectors will pay a premium for coins with such distinct and noticeable features. Another error to look for is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. These off-center quarters are highly prized by collectors because they are not only rare, but they also have a unique, misaligned appearance that sets them apart from other coins. If you find an off-center 1982 quarter, you found a coin that stands out from the crowd, and collectors will be eager to add it to their collections. You should also keep an eye out for clipped planchet errors. A clipped planchet happens when a coin blank is improperly cut before it's struck, resulting in a coin with a noticeable section missing from the edge. If you happen to find a 1982 quarter with a clipped planchet, it's another error that could make the coin significantly more valuable than its face value. These mistakes are highly sought after and can dramatically increase the price of a coin in the right condition. Now, let's talk about the value of this 1982 quarter. While most of these coins are worth just 25 cents in their regular, worn condition, the rarer examples, especially those with errors or in pristine, uncirculated condition, can be worth much more. Some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions, depending on their condition and any unique characteristics they may have. But the real prize? A well-preserved, error-filled 1982 quarter could be worth as much as $65,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $65,000 for a single 1982 quarter. This just goes to show how important it is to examine your coins carefully and understand what makes them valuable. It's incredible how a simple mistake or a well-preserved coin can become a collector's dream, and that's what makes the world of coin collecting so exciting. So, what should you do now? Take a look at your collection and any loose change you might have laying around. Don't overlook your 1982 quarters, give them a careful inspection. Check for any of the minting errors we discussed, and make sure to examine their condition. If you have a 1982 quarter that looks like it was just minted yesterday, or if it has one of those rare minting errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, remember that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Coins like the 1982 quarter are a perfect example of how even modern coins can have hidden value, waiting to be discovered. So, keep your eyes peeled and your magnifying glass ready. Who knows what rare and valuable coins you might uncover next. Top 7 and last rare coin, we've got a real treat for you, an unsung hero in the world of numismatics that might just be sitting in your collection, or perhaps even in your pocket change. We're talking about the 1974 United States quarter dollar. This seemingly simple coin, minted over 4 decades ago, has some serious value potential. Stick with us because by the end of this video, you might just be checking your change or coin jar to see if you've been holding on to a small fortune. Now, let's start by taking a look at the history behind the 1974 quarter. The year 1974 was a significant time for the United States, marked by political shifts, economic changes, and global events that impacted the country. It was a time when the U.S. was recovering from inflation and the fallout of the Vietnam War, and the coinage of the era reflected the ongoing shifts in American society. But what makes the 1974 quarter truly special isn't just the historical context, it's the unique characteristics that could make this coin worth far more than the 25 cents it was originally minted for. Most of us think of the 1974 quarter as just another coin from the mid-1970s, with the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. But here's the catch: while millions of these coins were minted, a select few have become highly sought after by collectors, and that's where the value lies. The reason for the increased interest is simple: rarity, condition, and some very unique minting errors that can make a 1974 quarter worth thousands of dollars. Let's start with the rarity of these coins. While the 1974 quarter was produced in large numbers, the vast majority of them were circulated and have been subjected to wear and tear over the years. Coins that have been used in daily transactions often show signs of damage like scratches, dents, or fading. But here's the good news: not all 1974 quarters have been through heavy circulation. Some have been carefully stored in pristine condition, untouched by time, and these examples are exactly what collectors dream of finding. A 1974 quarter in uncirculated or mint condition can be worth much more than a quarter that's been passed around over the years. Collectors are always on the lookout for these gem pieces because a coin in perfect condition is incredibly rare. If you happen to find a 1974 quarter that looks brand new, it could be worth a substantial amount more than its face value. And trust me, you want to pay attention to this. The difference in price between a well-worn coin and an uncirculated one can be massive, but that's not all. The real excitement begins when we talk about minting errors. These are the kinds of mistakes that occur during the coin production process, and they can make an ordinary coin worth much more than you'd expect. Minting errors are highly prized by collectors because they are unique, one-of-a-kind items that add a touch of rarity and intrigue to any collection point. One of the most valuable errors found on 1974 quarters is the double die variety. This occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet, the flat metal disc that becomes the coin, multiple times, causing a doubling effect on the design. This error is most commonly seen in the date and the lettering around George Washington's portrait. If you find a 1974 quarter with a double die, you've got yourself a rare and highly desirable coin that can bring in a premium. The doubling effect can be subtle or very obvious, but either way, collectors will be eager to get their hands on a well-preserved example. Another exciting error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. An off-center 1974 quarter can be instantly recognizable due to its unique, lopsided appearance. These coins are extremely rare and are highly sought after by collectors because of their distinct look and rarity. If you have one of these in your collection, you're holding onto a potential treasure, but wait, there's more. If you find a 1974 quarter with a clipped planchet, a coin that was incorrectly cut during the minting process, leaving part of the coin missing, you've stumbled upon another error coin that collectors are crazy about. A clipped planchet is a mistake that happened when the coin's blank was improperly trimmed, leading to a coin with an irregular edge. These types of errors are prized because they're unusual and visually interesting, and they can add significant value to a coin's worth. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1974 quarter. You might be wondering, how much could this old quarter really be worth? While most of these quarters are still just worth their face value of 25 cents, the rare specimens in pristine condition or with minting errors can be worth a lot more. Depending on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the current demand from collectors, a 1974 quarter can fetch some jaw-dropping prices. The price for a 1974 quarter with a minting error or in near-perfect condition can go as high as $79,000. Yes, that's right. $79,000. A single 1974 quarter could be worth more than most people make in a year. It's incredible to think that a coin with such a simple design can have such a huge value, but that's what makes the world of coin collecting so fascinating and full of surprises. A small error during the minting process or a perfectly preserved coin can turn a simple piece of pocket change into a high-priced collector's item. So, what should you do next? If you've got any 1974 quarters lying around, give them a closer look. Pay attention to their condition, and keep an eye out for any minting errors that could make them rare and valuable. You could have a small fortune sitting right under your nose. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to explore the world of numismatics, this is a reminder of just how rewarding coin hunting can be. Sometimes, the most unassuming coins can turn out to be the most valuable, and that's what makes collecting so thrilling. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1974 United States quarter and want to learn more about rare coins and their incredible value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!